Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Today I am going to take you down a memory lane of my Colourpop palettes. It's been a while that I have purchased Colourpop palettes. If you have been following me for a few years, then you guys probably know that I used to just love Colourpop palettes. I probably have bought every single eyeshadow palette which Colourpop released. 2 3 years back. Yeah, I was obsessed with Colourpop. They were affordable, they are affordable, and the color story of every palette just spoke to me. They were doing something different, something new in a very affordable way. So I had a ton of Colourpop palettes. Over the years I have decluttered some, but still now I have quite a few of them, and I feel like none of the palettes which I have are available anymore. So I thought, let me do a declutter of all my Colourpop palettes and let's see which ones I should keep and which ones I should let go. So yeah, if you guys are interested in Colourpop palettes, if you want to compare your Colourpop collection with mine, then please do continue watching. Okay guys, so let's quickly get started with this collection come declutter video. The first palette which I have is one of my favorite palettes. I don't know how many of you still have it. This is the Colourpop Good Sport palette. I spoke highly about this palette and you can see I still have the palettes in my covers. I really like this one, the Good Sport palette. This was one of the more unique color story which Colourpop had come out with. It was during the holidays of 2017, I would like to say 2017 if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, but this was a really nice warm tone but yet really neutral kind of a palette. It showed how green and purple, olive and purple can work together for the first time, at least for me, and how orange and purple looks so good. I think this will be a perfect color story for the outfit which I'm wearing today. So I just love this palette for that it did something different and it worked. The color story was just amazing. So I don't know what to do with this. I am pretty sure you can't get this anymore, and I checked, you can't get this anymore obviously, but I just love the color story. I don't know if I want to declutter this one. We will see. We'll see at the end which ones are we decluttering. Next I have the I Think I Love You palette. I don't know how many of you have it. I think I had 2 giveaways where I gave away this palette as well, because this palette is just such a staple palette. It has all the staple colors you would need for everyday, for functions, for parties, if you're a neutral palette lover. And this was a really well done palette. It had a pop of gold here as well, which was very interesting. It had the basic matte shades including a black and a lot of shimmer shades. So this was a really nice palette, but I think I will not keep this one anymore, because for all the neutral toned palettes I have the Natasha Denona bronze palette, which is what I usually go for these days. It has all the mattes. I want all the kind of browns and the transition shades. And for black, for black and other cool tone mattes, I reach for this Huda Beauty Jaguar palette, which I really like. Plus this one is quite old, so this one probably I will get rid of. Next we have this one from Colourpop, of course. This is the California Love palette, and this is also a very warm tone palette. Ideally, I wouldn't keep it anymore. This is how the packaging looks like. It matches my outfit today. This one, as you can see, has a summery warm tone vibe for summers. Really pretty browns, metallics, shimmer, glitters in this palette. A lot of different textures. It was a fun palette. I haven't really used it that much, and it's still good. I can still play around with the glitters. The glitters still have some glue in it. So this is quite old actually. It has been 2 years since I had this palette. Since I haven't used it that much, this is still going pretty strong. But why I want to keep this palette because it reminds me of the vacation which we had. We had gone to San Francisco and I had ordered this palette from San Francisco. So it's kind of special for me. So probably I'll not get rid of this one for now, just for sentimental reasons. So keeping this one. By the way, did I mention if this palette is available on Colourpop or not? I think I didn't. So this I Think I Love You palette is not available on Colourpop anymore, and so is the California Love palette. This one also is not available anymore. So far whatever I have shown you is not available on the Colourpop website. Next we'll go to these two palettes, the Boudoir Noir and the Menage Moi palettes. I have done videos on them pretty recently, I would say, because they were filmed I think last year. So these are the holiday collections from 2021 or 2020. I am getting confused, but these are also in quite a good condition. This is the first one, which is that olive toned palette, and I loved this palette. So beautiful. It has two matte olive shades, and usually in drugstore category these kind of olive shades are very hard to find. It also has a mirror as well. This is a really well done palette. I liked it a lot. And the other one is the Menage Moi, which is the more berry toned palette. So pretty, and it is more of a cool toned movie berry toned palette. This also was so nice. And but I was so surprised to see that both of these palettes are not available on the Colourpop website. Yes, I double checked again, and both these palettes are not available anymore on the Colourpop website. I am kind of surprised because they are not very old palettes and the color story was very nice. So I don't know why they discontinued it, but I would like to keep both of them because I really like the color story of both of them. Next we have this palette from Colourpop, which is called the Bye Bye Birdie palette. This was also like 2019-2020 release, I would like to say. I love the packaging of this palette. I would probably keep this palette just for the packaging. No, I'm kidding. I will think about it. This is how the palette looks like. Really pretty packaging, and these are all the shades which are in here. So it's more of like a purpley toned, magenta toned palette with a lot of different kind of finishes and textures. There are two jelly shadows in here which I have not used. There is one glitter as well. There is two glitters actually, two glitters, and rest are all metallic and shimmer shades. The color story is pretty if you are into these kind of magenta bright colors. But yeah, I don't know, other than the packaging, I think I like the packaging more than the colors. And I don't know, I have these kind of colors in other palettes, so probably I'll get rid of this one. I will see if I can keep the packaging or something, I don't know. This one also is not available on the Colourpop website anymore, so yeah, it's time for it to go. Okay, next we have two palettes from Kathleenlights. I have kept them for the longest time. I really like this Zodiac palette as well. The packaging is just so pretty of this palette, the Zodiac palette. The color story was something different and unique. It's not the most easiest palette to create looks, I will be very honest, but I did create some pretty looks with this. But yeah, it was not the most easiest palette to play with. It was very interesting, but the quality of all the shades were very nice. So I am a little bit torn what to do with this palette because I don't know, I really like Kathleen and I really like the concept of this palette. So probably I might still keep it for a while. The other one is also a Kathleenlights palette. This is the Dream Street palette, and this was the first one which they had launched. The packaging on this one is also really pretty, super pretty, and the color story of this one is also very nice. This is how the color story of this one looked like. It had some deep bluish green colors, both matte and metallic. Very easy to work with this palette. The mattes and the metallics, they went together very well. I have used this palette quite a bit. So this one also I'm kind of torn what to do because this also was a very nice favorite palette of mine. So this also I will put in the maybe pile for now. Next we have the Give It To Me Straight palette. I don't know how many of you guys remember or follow me since some time. This was one of my favorite palettes which I have from Colourpop, the Give It To Me Straight palette. This is a berry toned palette and I just love this palette so much. I used to love berry tones, I still do. I just love how this whole palette was from dark to light. It had everything, deep shades to deepen up your eye look, light shades also, matte light shade also, some metallics in different tones. Loved this palette so much. but I think I have enough berry tone palettes now, and this is quite old actually. I don't really use it anymore. Same goes for this You Had Me at Hello palette. I have blog entries for both of them on my blog. This one also is such a beautiful packaging. You Had Me at Hello. If I have to get rid of these palettes, I will be very upset actually. This is such a beautiful packaging. You Had Me at Hello. This is a more of a cooler toned berry palette, and I love this palette as well so much. It's a very everyday friendly berry tone palette with some mauves and purpley tones. Actually, this is less berry tone than the previous one. This is more everyday friendly with a little pop of purpley berry tones if you like. So this was also a great palette. I don't know, these two are so nice. I am so torn about these two palettes, whether to get rid of this or not, and they are in very good quality. So for now I will put them in the maybe pile. I also have the Colourpop Perception palette by Shayla, and I love the packaging of this palette. It is purple and black. Love this, and this is how the color story of this one looked like. This was a holiday edition palette if I am not wrong, and this had like everything, every kind of color I like: oranges, warm tones, bronzy tones, pinks, purple, berry, blue, green, olive. This was a perfect palette. It's a really well done palette for those times. So this was one of the palettes from Colourpop which had 16 shades, and yeah, I had really liked it, but I think I will not keep this anymore because this is quite old. Even for the packaging, I think I am not going to keep it. I have pictures of this one on my blog, so I'll be just happy with the pictures for now. Now let's move on to the smaller 9-pan palettes which I have. So I have these two. These were one of the first releases, the Soul and Mar palette from them, and I just loved both of these palettes. I used them quite a bit also. This is how the packaging of these two look like, and I don't know, they were just fun palettes, and it was something different which Colourpop had done. This one is the Ma palette, which had tones of blue and neutrals, and then we had the Soul palette which had tones of coral and oranges. Both of them worked so well, but I think I don't really use this anymore. So yeah, I'll just get rid of these palettes now, and they are not available on Colourpop anymore as well. So I think we had good time with those two palettes. Next we have a newer palette from Colourpop which is called the Baroque palette. I have bought it quite recently. It's one of the last Colourpop palettes I had purchased, but this is also not available on the Colourpop website. Let me just quickly double check. Yes, this one is also not available on the Colourpop website. I don't know why. I don't know why. The packaging is just so pretty, and look at the color story. It's a cool toned color palette lover's dream. It has those grey grungy tones, deep purple, bluish grays. It's just amazing palette, and I haven't really used it that much, and in fact I think I'll do a video on this one, although it's not available on the Colourpop website. I just want to create a look with this palette and just show you how this color story was. But yeah, it's just such a shame that this palette is not available on the Colourpop website, because this is like a excellent quality cool toned palette. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Okay, next we have this one, which is the Brown Sugar palette. This one also is like a very nice palette from Colourpop. This is a neutral brown toned palette, and it had everything. It's a everyday friendly palette. It has some warm tones, especially this orange to warm up the look, 3 different kind of browns: dark, light, cool and warm, and 3 types of shimmers or metallic shades. Very everyday friendly, travel friendly palette. And this one also is not available on the Colourpop website anymore. In fact, I'm not really sure if now on the website there is any palette which is like this neutral palette or a everyday friendly palette. So I don't know, I feel like keeping this one because I have already gotten rid of I Think I Love You palette. This one has a mirror also, so this will be a very nice travel palette. And just if I just need like a small palette to travel with, which has a mirror and a quick palette, I think this is going to be a really nice one. So yeah, I am leaning towards keeping this one. Next we have Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette. It's my pleasure. This is it's my pleasure palette. No, this is not going anywhere. I just love this palette too much to get rid of this. This is the first purple palette Colourpop had come out with. I have used this palette so much. Today also I have done a purpley look. If you guys know me, you know that I love purple tone palettes, and this was such an amazing palette. Nowadays there are some other purple tone palette on the website which I don't know, I'm not gravitated towards. This was the palette. It had deeper shades, different tones of purple, and this color is just so pretty. It's called Mr. Sandman, which is a Colourpop single as well. Really nice palette. This is not going anywhere. This one is like too difficult to get rid of. Okay, then we have the two Frozen palettes. This two, if I could, I would get rid of them. Seriously, honestly, I mean, I don't really wear them as much or use them as much, but these two are like my daughter's favorite palettes. They don't really wear eyeshadows, but they just like the idea of, you know, they're being Frozen 2 eyeshadow palettes. They like the idea of Frozen 2 makeup. So I think I can't get rid of these two. So I will have to keep these two just for my daughters. Okay, so I think I have gone through all the palettes which are mostly not available on the website. Now I will go through the 5 palettes which I have, which are still available on the website, which is very interesting and exciting. The first one is the Colourpop Orchid Knot palette, which I have used today for this eye look. Love this palette. This is also a berry toned, purple toned palette. Very different from the It's My Pleasure palette. Kind of in the You Had Me at Hello and Give It To Me Straight palette. So that's probably a reason why I will get rid of those two palettes and keep this one instead. This is newer and this is still available on the website. This has tones of purple, berry. This palette has a nice range of colors. It has some deep shades which complements my skin tone. So definitely keeping this one, Orchid Knot. I think I haven't done a video on this yet. So I will do one video on this one as well. The next one, which is I'm very surprised that it is still available on the Colourpop website, is the Colourpop Ooh La La palette. This is one of the very older palettes. It launched with It's My Pleasure palette when Colourpop had done a lot of these colorful palettes. I have already gotten rid of the green, blue ones. I just wanted to keep the purple one, but I kept the purple and the pink. Oh my god, one color is coming out. But this is the Ooh La La palette. The sticker shade, it was coming out. So I just pressed it back again. This was a pink toned palette, and I think I don't have any other pink toned palette in Colourpop. And it was a fun palette actually. I don't know, I don't really use these kind of colors, but I really like the idea of this palette. So there was some corally tones, peachy tones here, then some bright pinks and some purple and berry to mute out the look. So this was a very interesting palette. It has a mirror also, and since it's still available, I will keep it. Then another colorful or color themed palette which I like is the taupe palette. That's taupe. This one also is available on the Colourpop website. This is a cool toned taupey palette. I really like this one also for just a very simple, easy look. Just with 2-3 colors from this palette, you can create an everyday look. And I just love taupey shades. It has some taupey mattes and shimmer shades or in different tones of taupe. So that's why I have kept it, and I will continue to keep it. This also is a really nice one in my collection. And the last 2 palettes which are still available on the Colourpop website. Let me know if you want me to do a video on this. These are the 2 Mandalorian palettes. So this one is, does it have a name? Oh yeah, this is the child palette and this is the Mandalorian palette. Really love the color story of this one. Also, I don't really watch Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I love the color story of this. So I purchased it. Look at this. It's just so amazing. Love these cool toned silvery grungy vibes of this palette, and it has a mirror as well. You can see that I love neutral cool toned grungy berry pink purples, and this just fits in the category of colors I like. It also has some olive and brown. Love this one. And I have the child palette which I will open. I have the covers of everything, guys. Yes. This is the child palette. I really like the packaging of this one. Very cute. And look at the color story of this. It's super, super pretty. It has that minty, olivey vibe and tone to it. And both of these palettes, they complement each other really nicely too. If you see both the palettes together. Really, really pretty palettes which complement each other. So these two palettes also actually I haven't done videos on. So as I was saying, I will try to do videos on these palettes which are still available, and I have not done videos on them, but I have used them a lot. So yeah, those are the 5 palettes I have which are still available. Imagine just the 5 palettes. These 2 and these 3 are available on the Colourpop website. These are the only 5 palettes which I have from Colourpop. My god. And the other palettes, let me count them. I have another 18 palettes in my collection which are not available on the website anymore. Wow. Okay, that's about. Okay, so out of the 18 palettes which are not available on the website anymore, I am keeping these, the Frozen 2 palettes, just for my daughters. It's My Pleasure palette, the Brown Sugar palette, and the Baroque palette. This one I will do a video on this as well. This deserves a video. And out of the 12 pan palettes, I think I'm getting rid of most of them. I'm just going to keep these ones, the Boudoir Noir palette, the Menage a Moi palette. These are relatively new. California Love, purely because of sentimental reasons. So now I have 13 palettes. Now from the rest, I was torn about these 4, the Kathleenlights palettes and the Give It To Me Straight, You Had Me at Hello. I think I'll get rid of these 2 finally. Yeah, these are just quite old and I honestly don't really use them anymore. From the Kathleenlights palette, I think I will keep the Zodiac palette. I don't know, I just really liked the idea of this palette and I want to keep one Kathleenlights palette because I really like her a lot. So probably this one I will keep. The Dream Street I will get rid of, and the Perception palette also I'm getting rid of. Bye Bye Birdie also I think I don't need it anymore. I Think I Love You also I'll get rid of. Good Sport palette is another palette which I feel like I just want to keep it for the color story. It's one of the palettes which was so well done. So probably for the color story I will keep it. And the 2 smaller palettes which I'm getting rid of are the Soul and Mar palette. Okay, so the final count is this. So I'm decluttering these many palettes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm decluttering 8 palettes. And as I was decluttering, I realized that what I can do is pop out the shades which I really like. All of these are old palettes and I'm not giving away to anyone. If I'm not using, I don't want anyone else to use, but there are some shades which I really like, I might like from these palettes. So I think I will pop out those shades and keep, and maybe make a new palette. If I do that, I will definitely make another video where I will show you what I do with these palettes. But yeah, I think it was a very successful declutter. 3 palettes I'm keeping just for sentimental reasons, but I think I have a great mix of Colourpop palettes. So now I have 15 Colourpop palettes and I think I'm pretty happy. I might have to do another round of declutter very soon, but for now I'm pretty happy. So yeah, that's the video for today, guys. I hope you had a good time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and it was fun chatting about these Colourpop palettes. Do let me know if you have any questions or any requests for any of these palettes. Do let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching me today. I will see you again really soon in my next video. Bye.